very hard for people to talk, I think, necessary for even us artists to shed light
At the end of the
on
day,
such.
you're
I've gotten the opportunity to also that like me and my cover music and being able to stay from that into my own is thing I always want. I feel or not, I feel like I'm living my dream and being an.
Picture this, you're live on a full of talking to wedding plans when suddenly a call comes that shatters everything. The voice on says, the man you're about is gone. For real. Not in some movie, but right there in front of thousands of. That's exactly what happened to December 2023 during a live broadcast across Trinity. Moments after sharing sweet deep about her Ricardo Drew, the love of her life, the phone rings, and the words like lightning. Ricardo's been found unresponsive in Antigua. He's only 38, gone, just like that. And Patrice is still live on air, holding herself together, while thousands of people are tuned in, expecting her to smile, bit cool, like her heart didn't just break into. Imagine trying to breathe through that kind of pain while the world listens in real time. But here's where things get wild, because there are two secrets in this story. Everything you thought you knew. First off, the woman you see comes all over the world. She's not exactly who you think she is. The real Patrice battles something so deep for every single show that she literally can't herself. And what she built to survive that alter version she created to go turned into the only thing keeping her alive after Ricardo's death. What she's been hiding will leave you stunned. And here's the second secret. Before Ricardo passed, recorded something. A message just for Patrice he left behind in case it happened to him. No one even knew it existed until after he was gone. And when it was finally played, what he said in that tore everyone apart. It's the kind of thing that stays with you forever. But hold up, the final revelation, you're not ready for this one. Picture a quiet fishing village where dreams don't usually stretch beyond the shoreline. That's where Patrice Roberts came from. Born on April 11, 1986, packed house with 15 siblings and dreams way too big to fit inside those walls. At just years old, she grabbed a microphone, boom! The crowd went silent and she sang. That voice changed everything. Soon enough, competitions started rolling in, and before long, Little Patrice took home the crown as Sangre Grande Jr. Calypso Monarch. She didn't just win, she dominated. Patrice became a national finalist, and then 2001 hit like fireworks. 3 titles in 1 year. National Soca Monarch, National Library Calypso Monarch, and National Junior Calypso Monarch. All hers. And she was still too young to even grasp what she just pulled off. The very next year, she did it again. Everyone was watching this powerhouse take over a stage she touched like she was but no one saw what was happening by the spotlight. While she was smiling and winning trophies, something in it was breaking. The truth was terrified of crowds. Same crowds cheering her name made her to her stomach. Panic had unstopped, and anxiety kept her frozen in fear. So she came up with something to survive. Something that would save her, destroy her. She created an ego, someone fearless, someone who could do what Patrice couldn't. She called her Patsy Feared Nothing. She ruled every stage she stepped on, owning the crowd like she was born for the Patsy had all the power, all the energy that Patrice bring herself to show. But here's the real twist. Patrice didn't create Patsy just for fun. Patsy was splitting herself in two completely different people just to split. Double life would soon become the only thing keeping her alive after her death. And trust me, the reason that matters will shake you when we get there. Right now, her big break is coming fast. She's just 19, still transforming every time the lights hit her. Still take the show. Then comes her first big moment. The song The Islands drops with Bungie Garland. Her second, alongside Colonel Roberts, Sean Knoll making magic beats. Free of tourism in a heartbeat. It was everywhere, through commercials, flooding the airwaves, from Trinidad straight into international buzz. Just like that, then Toko became to the world. But while everyone saw, no one saw the weight crushing her behind the smile. It was unbearable, and the expectations were choking her every single day. She was still faking it, still pretending just to make it. Then came a lifeline. Michelle Montano noticed her spark and pulled her into his band. Patrice was living the dream, touring the world, crowds roaring, her name shining brighter than ever. The world tours turned into her new normal, and success surrounded her from every angle. In 2006 and March that changed her whole career. Victory with Band of the Year, alongside Michelle himself. The biggest of them all was finally hers. Patrice looked unstoppable, a true queen of the stage. But behind all that glitter, something didn't break. She kept climbing higher, but the top always seemed to slip away. She crushed the International Soca Monarch stage year after year. In 2006 with Always Be, 4th place in 2007 with Light It Up, and back to 2nd in 2008 with More Wook. Always so close, yet never claiming the crown. Then, out of nowhere, she dropped a bomb away from the entire International Soca Monarch competition with no explanation. The industry was stunned. People whispered that she quit, that maybe she couldn't handle that she'd given up. But they were all wrong. Patrice wasn't quitting. She was clearing the lane for the next generation of women. She was building something bigger than so that powerful to back and lift us instead of would later who he came after Ricardo's death. Keep that in mind because it matters. After joy entered her world, baby Lily was born.
You know, I've got a opportunity to work so that me and my cover music and being able to stay from that into my own is thing I always want to feel or not. I feel like I'm living my dream and being
A little girl, her father, Ricardo Drew, complicated love. Their love story was a storm, on and off, private yet constantly under the microscope. Everyone had something to say, judging from the sidelines, picking apart every move they made. But while the world obsessed over her relationship drama was quietly building something powerful, she launched I Am Woman, a series that the script, celebrating female artists, funding youth programs, and creating real mentors for the next generation. She wasn't just singing anymore. She was leading something bigger. Patrice was shifting the whole scene from the inside out, turning her stage into a for change. Still, around her and Ricardo never stopped, stayed fixated on their relationship, always watching, always waiting for it to fall apart. Then came 2021, and with it, a song that sent a total chaos, Thick Love, featuring both Patrice and Ricardo together, a tidal wave, brutal and non-stop. Critics slammed it as irresponsible, harmful, and yes, toxic. The judgment was harsh, the headlines ruthless. The truth no one saw, that so-called toxic track was the realest thing she'd ever made. It was raw, it was honest, it was them. And when Rico passed, the world finally understood that song wasn't about destruction, it was about survival, love and pain too real to grasp. Hold on to that truth, because now we've got what was already breaking her inside. She's in Belgium, headlining a national show, completely sold out, fans screaming her name. But backstage, everything starts collapsing. Out of nowhere, she can't breathe. A full-blown panic gets into her. Her chest feels like her hands shaking so hard, she can't even hold her steady. She's dying right there behind the stage. It's right beside her, holding her clothes, trying to keep her grounded. Then, just like that, she flips the switch. It's over. In seconds, she becomes that fearless version of herself and hits the stage like nothing's wrong. The crowd has no clue Patrice was literally fighting for her life minutes earlier. After the show, she just wants to film it, she went for a little piece. But then, a woman walks in. You can see the all over her face, addiction, mental strain, everything. Patrice looks at her straight up. What led you here? The woman answers softly, anxiety. Side by side, into the same mirror, both fighting the same invisible war. One of them, global Soca superstar. The other, barely hanging on day by day. But anxiety doesn't care who you are or how successful you've been. It hits everyone the same way. Crushing, quiet, and relentless. What nobody realized in that salon was that Patrice wasn't just meeting a stranger that day, she was staring straight at her future self, because only a few years later, she'd become that same woman in the mirror, surviving, drowning in grief, and using music as her only escape. That wasn't random. It was a warning of everything heading her way. Right after that, to the studio, still shaken, still carrying the weight of what she just lived through. Warren, Neon Kid, and her producers were there, working on new tracks. Everything, and poured her soul out. Told them about Belgium, the panic and the pain, and right there in that room, they turned all that into something real. A song called Anxiety, the track about mental health, about panic and using music as therapy. That was unheard of, and it changed everything. The song Anxiety shook the scene to flooded her with messages for saying what they'd been too afraid to admit out loud. Patrice wasn't hushed confidence. It's her, raw and real, finally speaking her truth. But here's the part most people miss. Anxiety wasn't just a song. It was a warning. Patrice both herself and the world for what was coming next. Because soon, she wouldn't just be singing about using soca therapy, she'd be living it. Then came July 2022, a night straight out of a dream. Ricardo got down on one knee during his own show, Drew's in Antigua. Right there on stage, the whole crowd, the lights, the music, the cheers, everyone watching as he proposed to the love of his life. She said yes. The relationship everyone once labeled toxic was now turning into something official. A marriage built on love, growth, second chances. The wedding plans, and for the first time in a long time, the future looked solid. She finally felt real peace. Everything seemed perfectly like maybe all the had led her right here to this moment of stability and joy. But just 16 months later, perfect was shattered without warning. December 2023, a date that would change everything. Patrice was live on the radio, tuned in as she spoke with pure excitement about her upcoming wedding, about Ricardo, about forever. The interview wrapped up smoothly until her phone rang. She answered, and everything froze. The voice on the other end said no one is ever ready to hear. Ricardo Drew has been found unresponsive in Antigua. He was only 38, gone, just like that. Sat gripping the phone. No scream, no tears, just silence. He couldn't even process it. But the show was still live. Thousands were listening. Somehow she had to keep going, while her world fell apart in real time. Later, on Instagram, she spoke. "I don't even know where to begin." Just 6 words, but the pain behind them was crushing. The grief hit like a wave that wouldn't stop, suffocating, relentless, unbearable. Everyone as he'd step back, time to heal from the spotlight for a while. But Patrice, he did the opposite. Instead of, she went straight back to the stage, right into the fire. People couldn't make sense of it. How could she smile? How could she perform when her heart was shattered, but then see the truth behind it? For that the one fighting anxiety and using to cope, Patrice had found her version of that escape. Only hers wasn't a drug, it was Soca, the music, the lights, the energy, and the alter ego she built, like strength, survival, pure instinct keeping her alive one per time, and slow down.
It's very hard for people to talk, I think, necessary for even us just to shed light.
At the end of the day, you're human.
For a second, the tour kept moving. Barbados, New York, Toronto, every show packed, every crowd on their feet, giving her roaring standing ovations while backstage, she was barely holding herself together. On stage, she's falling apart inside. One can see it. Patsy has completely taken over now. The same Patrice created to survive her fear of crowds is the only thing keeping her up as an adult facing unimaginable grief. Decades later, that split personality isn't just a stage trick, it's her lifeline. The one thing holding her to everything else is breaking. Then one night, after a show, something hits her harder than performance ever could. A fan approaches her, tears streaming down her face, and says softly, "You are the strongest woman I know." It sounds like pure admiration, a beautiful moment of praise. But inside, Patrice feels like a knife. She's not strong, not even close. She's just the art of every smile, every note, every dance. It's all her mask, and even with her heart still cracked open, she keeps showing up. Every single time, no excuses. By August 2025, Patrice is the Female Soca Artist of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Keeps cheering, but behind the spotlight, she's holding herself together piece by piece. Her performance on the Grammys takes everything to another level. She performs Mind My Business, also known as Drink Water and Mind My Business. What started as a catchy phrase becomes her personal survival code. Those words turn into her daily reminder, her peace, and stay focused on healing. But the real transformation is happening behind the mic, in her music. Late 2025, rolling into 2026, creating songs that speak where words alone can't. Her new track, Great Escape, produced by Tano and Precision Productions, hits deep. It's all about needing space to breathe when life closes in, when the only way out is through the music itself. Everything became too unbearable to remember her song, Anxiety, the one that turned music in. Well, her track, Great Escape, is cool. The next showing what happens when that therapy is just healing you anymore. It's the only thing you alive. Then, December 2025 brings another emotional wave. Drops in Soca in a whole new way, all about guarding your peace, standing strong when the world tries to shake you. But she doesn't stop there. Later that same month, she releases Capital Mikal Teja, a carnival anthem full of color and emotion, celebrating joy while dancing through heartbreak. And just when the new year begins, she gives us A Day Comes in 2026. A soul-touching honoring men and the powerful mothers who raised them. Each song becomes another story. Pain, love, and healing wrapped in sound. Every new song becomes a healing, a step forward, even when it still hurts. By January 2026, Patrice steps into a brand new era with Soca Origins, performing Nyla taking the stage for Soca, a powerful celebration of women, culture, and legacy. It's been 1 full year since passing. 1 year of grief, panic, and holding her together good. And through it all, she's learned some hard truths. Grief doesn't fade with, and anxiety doesn't vanish overnight. Neither does music or love or that fire inside her that refuses to quit. She's learned how to perform while feeling both pain and joy at once, to heal and hurt at the same time. She has learned to live in both realities, and somehow that balance became her peace. It's growing, spreading, featuring more women, more voices, more stories. Patrice isn't just anymore. She's thriving, building, and leading. Now at 38, turning 39 in April 2026, she's not only a mother, but also a mentor to countless young artists. A fierce mental health survivor turned her pain into her estimated net worth sits around $1.8 million, built through legendary performances, music and deals, and her I Am Woman initiatives. But her real wealth, it isn't measured in money. It's in legacy and the lives she's changing every single day. Her legacy lives in every life she's touched, forever changed by her story. From the tiny village of Soca to the world, Patrice's journey has stretched from winning Junior Calypso Monarch at just 9 years old to being crowned Female Soca Artist of the Year at 38. She's done it all, from creating to her fears, to realizing that deep down was strong enough all along. Her transformation has been raw and real, shaped by a love the world once called toxic, by judgment that never let up, and by a loss but through every storm, she made it okay to be okay all the time. She showed that grief and strength can live in the same and bravery together. Patrice showed the world what real courage looks like, unfiltered, unpolished, but powerful. And now comes the final secret, the one that everything you thought you knew before passed, he left behind words meant only for ever happened to him. Somehow, he knew. Deep down, he absolutely knew. In that, he gave her something priceless to keep going. And remember, Thick Love, the song everyone judged so harshly, it wasn't a chaos. It was his goodbye wrapped in music. It was never truly, not even that song, that love, that story. It was about two people who understood how fragile life really is. It was about how love can be messy and still worth fighting for, even when the world tries to label it wrong. Their connection was never about perfection, truth. And remember that from in Belgium, the one battling anxiety, barely holding herself together, she unknowingly showed her own future. That moment wasn't random, for the heartbreaks to come, or that music could be medicine, a lifeline when words and time weren't enough. And then there's Patsy, the alter ego born from a scared little girl who just wanted to survive the stage lights. That creation became the armor that carried Patrice through the darkest year of her life. When the world thought she was falling apart, she was asked back together. Every attack, every heartbreak, every salvation, they all connected. Every struggle had a purpose. Ricardo's didn't destroy her, revealed her. Anxiety became her most powerful song, the raw truth of her soul. That so-called toxic love taught her what unconditional love really looks like. Her testimony, proof that you can lose everything and still rise again. And in the end, she realized something beautiful. And Patrice were never, they were always one and the same, terrified and whole, grieving and healing all at once. Now she stands here, not just as Patrice Roberts, but as every woman who's ever had to build herself from the ashes. The lights hit her face, the music roars, and the screams her name. But this time, she's not hiding behind anymore. She's both the fearless performer and the woman who's faced heartbreak on. Her voice carries years of pain, power, and purpose. Every lyric she sings now has weight. It's no longer just entertainment. She says her story into a movement. She's giving women permission to feel it all. The fear, the love, the loss, and still keep going. She's showing that you can be soft and strong, that vulnerability doesn't make you weak, it makes you real. Now, her mission goes beyond the music. She's building mental health programs for creating spaces for the next generation, making sure no one else has to their pain alone. The girl who once couldn't the crowd is now using her platform to change lives worldwide. Patrice Roberts has anxiety, judgment, loss, and rebirth, and somehow turned it all into art. She's proof that you can break and strong to pieces. The music or the awards, it's the message echoing through every beat. You can fall apart and still rise up shining. She's no longer surviving, she's living fully, fiercely, and fearlessly. The real Patrice, finally free. At the same time that her world was falling apart, Soca became the rhythm into her heartbeat, the lyrics her prayers, and the stage, her church. Every time she steps on now, it's not just a show, it's a testimony that you can lose everything, find the strength to stand tall again. Each performance is a reminder that healing doesn't always look calm or perfect. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's loud. That once helped her has now become her sanctuary. The one place where pain transforms into power right before your eyes. Patrice performing anymore. She's preaching through melody, through rhythm, and proving that strength isn't about never breaking. It's about rising every single time you do. So if it hit you deep, if it made you feel something real, your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. And if you want to hear more stories about artists who turned their pain into found light in the corners, then make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Because every click, every share, every word keeps alive. Stories that remind us that no matter what life takes from you, you can always rebuild and rise again.